Hi, this is Sherry Veronica. Martie Garnes and Shadia Simpson, these two here, are in the Nation newspaper talking about cops need to be disciplined. And they are saying that they are not speaking out just because one of their own, Lanny Daisley, was arrested and she was mistreated. Lanny is an attorney, but she won. She won in court against the two cops who abused her, and illegally, it was an illegal arrest, and she won in court a substantial amount. So they're saying that they're not speaking up because of that, but they are speaking up because of that. This criminal law committee and these two representatives from that committee are speaking out because of that. And while they were speaking out, they never once, when they were talking about the Lanny Daisley matter, they mentioned that one of the cops got promoted, in fact, got promoted twice, and the other one resigned. And they don't think that behavior like that from cops should be rewarded. It's like they don't know where they are. It's like they're talking to you as though you don't have any sense and you don't see what's going on in Barbados. They're talking to you like you're imbeciles, and you should respond. You should respond to this Simpson lady and this particular guy here, Garnes. But when they were talking about the two cops who mistreated Lanny Daisley, an attorney, the one that won, they never once called the names. They never once called the names. Okay? And then she mentioned that she's trying to serve that cop that was, remember the video that went around where she was cursing and carrying on, and she had this recidivist. He is a recidivist. She had a recidivist in custody, and she was telling him what she would do to him, and when they get to the station, what she's going to do to him. And it was all out, all over the place. And subsequently, she went on sick leave. Now, Simpson here, Shadia Simpson, is saying that she has been trying to serve that particular cop, but it seems as though she's being protected from the COP, the chief of police. The whole system is protecting her, and she's not able to serve her because of the client, the guy that has hired her to file a suit. Not once did she call her name. Not once did she say that such and such a cop that was featured in such and such a video abusing someone in custody, by the name of such and such. She's been trying to serve her. She remains on sick leave in hiding. Not once did you call her name, Simpson. Not once did you call her name. Not once did I see you guys. Maybe you were. Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't see you guys when Everton Gittins. Remember Everton Rudolph Gittins, when he killed that man there in Bank Hall somewhere. And Maureen Knight is the Marlene Knight was the wife that remained. And he not only did Everton Gittins shoot and kill the husband, he shot the son, the woman's son. I didn't see you all perturbed by that. And Everton Gittins got his job back as a cop, and he went on and he was doing security work for other people. They were hiring him. He killed a man and shot someone early Sunday morning, and he went on, and people in Barbados hired him to do security. You don't see what's going on? I'm talking to these two here, Shadia Simpson, and this one here, Martie Garnes. What do you think your faces in the paper are going to do? What do you hope to accomplish by showing up in the Nation news to talk just because Lanny Daisley, she got her case resolved because she had a recording device in a pen? And they're saying that had she not had that recording device so she could use it as evidence, the case would have gone nowhere. So if normal people going about their business don't have no pen that records conversation, you're just going about your business, and the cop does something to you, and you don't have that particular evidence. And the cop goes on and becomes promoted and becomes rehired and becomes hired by other people. You don't know where you live? Martie, don't you know where you live? Is there something wrong with you that you do not recognize where you live? And Shadia Simpson, you think that you're going to change something because you show up in the paper? You think that the criminals that are part of the police force and that whole cult, sure, you think you're going to change them because you show up in the paper? You think the case of Lanny Daisley is going to change anything? As you properly and accurately said, it's not going to set no precedent. You're not going to be able to use that going forward because that was something, an anomaly of such. That was an anomaly. Okay, so you can't even use that because how often does something like that happen? She was very lucky. So why did you show up in the paper? That's really what I would like to know. Why did these people from the criminal law committee in Barbados, why did you show up in the paper when you know that in this world and in a place like Barbados, you need people like the ones who arrested and mistreated Lanny? You need people like that in the police service. You need people who, when you're nice to them, they will still sell you down the river. You need people like that in Barbados because of just the nature of things there. It's just who you are. It's just who you are, and it's who you are to become in the future. Can't have you growing outside of yourselves. It's what you are going to become in the future. Tamped down. Tamped down. You're not gonna grow wings and fly. You could fly out of Barbados and do it somewhere else in another country. But if you are living in Barbados, there's only so far you're going to be able to go. People are going to be put in place to tamp you down to make sure that smell that you don't smell is still there. That colonial rule and that overlord they're still kept abreast of what's going on the ground there in Barbados. So why did Shadia Simpson and Martie Garnes show up in your paper talking about cops need to be disciplined when they know that it's a culture in Barbados that is not going to change? It started when they hired them to run after the runaway slaves. It is something that is in their blood that can't change. It won't change. Why did they show up in the paper today? Why did they show up in the paper today? They showed up because they're thinking because Lanny Daisley won a case that they have some ammunition, although they're saying they don't, but they're thinking that they do. They don't. They're thinking that they can show up now because they got someone, they got some money from the government. They got some money from the government, although she cannot serve the policeman that abused her client, and she didn't call the names. And although they got up in the paper and didn't call the two names of Gamble and Rock, the two people who abused Lanny Daisley, it's like they're afraid to call names. So what they're telling you, they showed up in the paper to bask in what happened to Lanny Daisley. She got some money, over $370,000, I think. She got some money. They showed up for that, and they showed up to tell you that when you get online, when you show up in the paper, still, we are attorneys and we are not calling names, so they're telling you not to call names and not to be outspoken with information, just like how they're being like cagey. That's what they're teaching you. That's what, in essence, they're teaching you. Don't call nobody's name. Beat around the bush. Just beat around the bush. You showed up in the paper today for no purpose other than to keep Barbadians in a lockdown kind of situation, to keep them in that slavery, to keep them in that fear, to keep them to keep them coming to you, to keep them having to come to you, attorneys, for every little thing that they want to do. You came into the paper today to get work. You, Shadia Simpson, and you, Martie Garnes, showed up in the paper, the Nation News, to get work so that people can see your faces, probably remember your name. I've called it a couple times, and you get work. Because what other reason could there be? None. Zero. Zero. You're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. Okay? Nothing's going to change. You're talking about cops need to be disciplined. What about the attorneys who need to be disciplined from stealing people's money and, taking money, and nothing ever gets done within the law firm and cases? You always want money, or you owe me money, but nothing gets done. What about you? Attorneys needed to be disciplined. You showed up in the paper. You showed up in the paper because Lanny Daisley got some money from the taxpayers, and you showed up in the paper, not calling any names, making Barbadians beholden to you. You showed up in the paper to get work. Okay, you showed up in the paper today to get work. You should be ashamed of yourselves, because all that long talk, all the long talk that you had in this particular article that was written up, it means nothing. It means nothing. Okay? Cops are not going to be disciplined. And you know from the Everton Gittins case that they're not going to be disciplined, and they're going to get their jobs back. And even if they don't get their jobs back, Bajans are going to hire them. Bajans are going to hire them. Bajans love criminals. Bajans love criminals. Okay, they become, sports people. People could kill people, create all kinds of frauds or whatever, and go now be sports people. Bajans don't care about things like that. So why are you showing up here for? Again? Martie Garnes and Shadia Simpson showed up in the paper today as an advertisement to get work. Whatever they said in the paper holds no water. It holds no water. What they're saying to you means nothing. All they showed up today in the paper for is to get work, to show their faces and to get work. Not only is it that cops need to be disciplined, the attorneys in Barbados also need to be disciplined. This is Sherry Veronica.